Okay, it is rolling. Rolling. We're rolling.
Okay. P-TECH Course 3, Income Approach to Value, Section 4, Capitalization Formulas and Rates, PAV Chapter 13. Learning objectives: explain how the principle of anticipation is related to the income approach. Define capitalization of income. Explain the relationship between highest and best use, HBU, and the income approach to value. Calculate discount rates, recapture rates, and OAR.
That OAR means overall cap rate. So when you see that.
Explain the IRV capitalization formulas used in appraising income-producing properties. A. The principle of anticipation is related to the income approach. PAV, page 16. Number 1. Principle of anticipation. Value is the present worth of all the anticipated future benefits to be derived from a property. Number 2. The principle of anticipation is central to the income approach to value. Number 3. This principle holds that value is the present worth of all future benefits of ownership. Number 4. The income approach focuses explicitly on the anticipated rewards of property ownership. Number 5. The income approach requires you to estimate the future benefit of ownership and convert them into an indication of present worth. Number 6. You must know about investor expectations in your market and not allow personal opinion to influence the estimation of anticipated future benefits. Number 7. You need to be able to estimate the income streams that will be generated by various types of income-producing properties. B. Capitalization, the conversion of income to value. PAV, page 339. Number 1. The capitalization process estimates market value by converting the future benefits of property ownership into an estimate of present value. Number 2. This course covers 2 methods of capitalization that are recognized in appraisal practices. The first method is direct capitalization. The second method is yield capitalization. Number 3. The fundamental process involved in capitalization is the conversion of anticipated future income into an estimate of present value. C. The relationship between highest and best use, HBU, and the income approach to value. PAV, pages 45 through 61. That's the damn green book. Number 1. Comparable sales must have the same HBU as the subject property to be truly comparable. Number 2. Rent, vacancy, and expense ratios must be estimated from the market, meaning a sample of recently sold properties that have a similar HBU as the subject. I mean, what's the comma there for, really? Right? I make my own rules. The value of land, number 3, the value of land and improvements must be based upon the same HBU assumption for both land and building. D, relationships of the rates for improved properties, PAV, page 342. Number 1, neither the land cap rate nor the building cap rate equals the overall property cap rate. Number 2, OARSs are always higher than discount rates, which is the land cap rate.
So OARSs are capital cap rates. So when you see that OAR, you can say cap rates.
If I say OARs, is it going to mean anything to you?
It will.
Okay.
But it makes more sense to say cap rates.
To you, I'm the one. But
to me, yeah.
But I'm reading.
Okay, fine. I'm paying you an awful lot of money to be doing this.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on my check to clear too.
Okay, relationships of the rates, number 2.
Number 3.
Oh, 3. Oh.
You let me worry about the reading. ORs, OARs are always lower than the sum of discount and recapture building cap rate. Number 4, the OR is always lower than the building cap rate, or the OAR, or the, I don't even know what you said, I don't know what it is, I didn't retain it.
Overall cap rate.
So number 5, the OAR is weighted average of the building and land cap rates. Hey, this time of the night, we're doing good to get me enunciating properly.
Okay.
Any good thing I don't drink wine? Could you imagine? You're gross. E, 4 components of a discount rate. PAV, pages 305 through 306. Number 1, the discount rate is made up of 4 components. A, safe rate. 1, the rate of return on investment with no risk of non-payment. 2, typically the rate of return on U.S. Treasury securities with a similar term of investment. B, risk rate. Number 1, the premium demanded by investors for the risk of owing real estate compared to U.S. Treasury securities. You're pooting. Number 2, including the risk that the tenant could go bankrupt and not pay the rent. Number 3, including the risk that the occupancy rate of the property may not meet expectations. And number 4, the risk that any of the investors' pro forma assumptions will not be achieved. C, illiquidity rate. Liquidity is the ability to convert an investment to cash within a reasonable period of time. Number 2, it is the ability to convert the property for market value in a reasonable period of time. Number 3, real estate investments often take a long time to sell at market value. C, management rate. Number 1, compensates the investor for the expense in time and money expended to set up and maintain a real estate investment. Number 2, these include the investor's overhead, legal fees, accounting, and clerical expenses. Number 1, the summation method, sometimes called the built-up method, builds a discount rate from the 4 factors listed above. The summation method clearly shows the factors involved in a rational investor's decisions. B, in practice, estimating the separate rates can become extremely difficult. C, the safe rate is relatively easy to identify. D, estimating management and illiquidity present many problems. E, appraisers seldom attempt to estimate management and illiquidity in isolation. F, instead, they combine them with the risk rate and treat the discount rate as the sum of the safe rate and risk rate. G, estimating the risk rate is quite difficult since investors' perception of risk can vary widely. H, for this reason, the summation method is more valuable in theory than practice. I, appraisers do not recommend using it if you can estimate a discount rate with other market methods. Example. The safe rate is 6%. The non-liquidity rate is 1.5%. The management rate is 3%. The risk rate is 2%. The sum of these separate rates is the discount rate by the summation method. The summation method. Safe rate, 0.6. Non-liquidity, 0.015. Management, 0.03. Risk rate, 0.02. Your discount rate is 0.125 or 12.5%. F. How discount and recapture rates are related to land, building, and overall capitalization rates, or OAR. It's PAV, pages 340 through 342. So the overall you're nasty. You're gross too. Overall capitalization rate is the OAR. Okay. Number 1, every parcel of developed real estate. Number 1, every parcel of developed real property includes wasting and non-wasting assets. Number 2, the non-wasting portion of the asset is the land. Number 3, the wasting assets are the improvements on land. Number 4, The wasting assets suffer depreciation over their economic life, and eventually all value is lost. Number 5. The property owner must use part of each year's NOI to recapture the lost value of the improvements. Number 6. The recapture rate is the percentage of the improvement's value that is recaptured through the income stream. It is typically referred to as the return of the investment in the wasting assets. Number 7. Every overall capitalization rate contains a discount in recapture component. The recapture portion of the overall capitalization rate applies only to the wasting assets. B. It reflects the amount of NOI devoted to recapture of wasting assets divided by the value of the wasting assets. Example: property NOI equals $100,000. Of that amount, $15,000 goes toward recapture. If the building is worth $600,000, the recapture rate is equal to $15,000 divided by $600,000, which is equal to 0.025 or 2.5%. And there's a picture of the Irv triangle. And it says only wasting assets generate recapture income. R equals I divided by V.
What'd you say? R?
R equals I divided by V.
Okay, I got you. What you're saying. Okay, you're reading that text. Okay.
Yeah, I'm reading the paper.
I was looking at the problem itself.
No. Just G. Using economic life technique to estimate a recapture rate, PAV, page 354 to 355. Number 1. Use only if the following criteria are met. A. The building represents the property's HBU. B. The building owners are likely to retain ownership for its entire remaining economic life. C. Personal property does not make up a significant part of the wasting assets. D. The property owner also uses the building. E. Acceptable substitute properties are not widely available. Number 2. The useful economic life technique is simple to calculate. You divide 100% by the building's remaining economic life. I think I read that wrong. You divide 1, which is 100%, by the building's remaining economic life.
You didn't read it wrong. You just left out the 1. So it's 1 and 100% is kind of understood.
Okay. So then number 3 of using the economic life technique to estimate a recapture rate. The result is the recapture rate. The percentage of building value the owners must recapture each year in order to recover fully their investment in wasting assets. Number 4. This method makes the following assumptions. A. That the owners recapture building value from NOI only. And B. That recapture occurs only in equal yearly amounts. Number 5 of using economic life technique to estimate a recapture rate. This method is also called straight line recapture. 1 divided by remaining economic life, the REL of the building. Number 6 of using the economic life technique to estimate a recapture rate. Use of the straight line recapture has become increasingly rare. Number 7 of using economic life technique to estimate a recapture rate. This method is often appropriate to develop a recapture rate for special use buildings or buildings where value in use is likely to equal market value for the foreseeable future. There's an example of straight line recapture. The initial building is equal to $100,000. 40-year straight line recapture.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
And it looks like the Confederate flag, Mama.
Just like the one we got out on the front porch.
Just like the one that we got out on the front porch that we got down at the Walmart. Sorry. Get your stuff inputted. H. Estimating the discount portion of the cap rate. Discount rate, PAV, page 340. Number 1, in estimating the discount portion of the cap rate, the discount portion of the cap rate applies to the entire property, land, and building. Number 2, estimating the discount portion of the cap rate, it equals the amount of discount income, not, no, it does. It equals the amount of discount income, total NOI, minus recapture income, divided by total property value. Found another typo in this lovely textbook. We've got number 2 again. So number 2, part B, dividing discount income by the property value yields the discount rate. And number 3, which is really number 4, of estimating the discount portion of the cap rate. The discount rate is sometimes called the return rate or internal rate of return and compensates the investor for the return on investment. Example of estimating the discount portion of the cap rate. The property NOI is $100,000 and $85,000 is considered discount income. The property's value is $750,000. The discount rate is equal to discount income divided by property value, or $85,000 divided by $750,000 equals 0.1133. And there's a picture of the IRV triangle, and it says all property components generate return income.
So we're figuring out the rate in this case. Estimating the discount portion of the cap rate. Okay.
Number 5, of estimating the discount portion of the cap rate. Individual cap rates for the component parts of a property when using an effective tax rate are as follows. A. Land only cap rate, discount rate plus effective tax rate equals land cap rate. B. Building only cap rate, discount rate plus recapture rate plus effective tax rate equals building cap rate. I. Construct an overall capitalization rate, OAR, using the band of investment method, PAV, page 353. The band of investment technique for developing an OAR emerges from the recognition that overall property value equals the sum of component values. If you know the ownership percentage of each property component and the appropriate cap rates, the band of investment method enables you to combine the partial rates into an OAR. It requires you to multiply each component band times its applicable cap rate. The sum of the weighted rates is a weighted average, or the OAR. When you know the breakdown of the subject's property value between land and improvements, building, and the discount rate and recapture rates, you can easily combine those separate rates into an overall value. For example, the land to building ratio for your subject property is 1:3. This ratio means that land makes up 25%, 1/4, of total value, and the building makes up 75%, 3/4. The discount rate is 10% and the recapture rate is 4%. The land cap rate always equals the discount rate, and the building cap rate always equals the sum of discount rate and recapture rate. Multiplying each ownership percentage times the applicable rate gives you the weighted partial rate. Summing the weighted rate gives you the OAR of 13%. Band of investment. Land and building. The land portion is 0.25 times 0.10 equals 0.025. Building 0.75 times 0.14 equals 0.105. If you add the land and building together, the percentages, thank you, the property total is 1%.
13%. Oh. Go ahead. Sorry. That one's not 1%.
No, it's probably talking the property as one whole property.
Yeah, one property.
So the property total is 1, which is the whole property. And then if you add the 0.025 plus the 0.105, that equals 13% or 0.13 for constructing the overall capitalization rate using the band of investment method. Alternately, since the discount rate applies to the entire property and the recapture rate applies to building only, you can multiply percentage times the recapture rate, building cap rate minus discount, then add the weighted recapture to the discount rate. The result will be the same. Band of investment, return and recapture. Discount 1 times 0.10 equals 0.10. Recapture 0.75 times 0.04 equals 0.03. So the property rate becomes 13% or is 13%. The recapture rate is equal to the building cap rate minus the discount rate. Darling, the cat. Would you get him down here? Thank you. The major disadvantage of either variant is that you must have a great deal of information. In many cases, you must know the subject's value in order to determine its land-to-building or land-to-property ratio. This technique requires you to know the separate rates appropriate for land and building. In most cases where you know these results, you are likely to know the OAR.
Where you know these rates.
What did I say?
Results.
Oh. Okay, in most cases where you know these rates, you are likely to know the OAR. J. Construct an overall capitalization rate, OAR, using the band of investment method, such as the mortgage and equity components. Is that what they mean there?
Instead of using land and building components, you're using mortgage and equity components.
Okay. PAV, page 396. Since you can divide ownership according to mortgage and equity components, you can use band of investment to combine mortgage and equity cap rates into an OAR. This process works much like the one based on land and building components. You must know the breakdown of ownership between mortgage, debt, and equity, and the cap rate for each component. You set up the calculation using the same format used for weighted averaging of land and building rates. Multiply the ownership percentage times the partial rate and sum the results. For example, the loan ratio for your property equals 80%. The term loan ratio refers to the percentage of property value covered by a mortgage. The mortgage cap rate is 12.75%. The quality cap rate equals 16.80.
The what kind of cap rate?
Equity?
The equity cap rate.
What did I say?
Quality.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I said equity and you heard
Slow
quality.
down just a smidge.
Ugh. Listen faster.
Well, you're skipping orders.
Well, I'm really not. The equity cap rate equals 16.80. Using weighted averaging to combine these gives you an OAR of 13.56%. Band of investment, mortgage, and equity. The mortgage, the total ownership percentage is 0.80.
No, just read it like the mortgage percentage and the equity percentage.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's actually the percentage of property value covered by the mortgage.
Okay.
So mortgage percentage times the 0.1275 equals 0.1020.
Well, what was the mortgage percentage?
0.80.
Okay, you didn't say that. You just said the mortgage percentage times 0.1275.
The equity percentage of 0.20 multiplied by the 0.1680 equals 0.0336. The overall property ownership percentage amount is 1, it's whole, and then that equals 0.1356 or 13.56%. That's the weighted averaging to combine OAR of 13.56%. Savvy?
I understand.
Okay.
But it's okay that you read it jacked up.
I didn't read that all jacked up.
No, I mean, in the way the problem works, it's okay because I understand what's going on with this ban of investments. Finally, after hearing it in class and never getting it, and listening to it in the level 3 review and not getting it, now that you're reading it and I'm looking at it, I'm getting it. So, that's all that matters.
Okay. Would you go let Mr. Kitty help?
Okay, go ahead and keep reading.
You can find specific property's mortgage cap rate by dividing its debt service by its loan amount. In property tax appraisal, you want to find the value of property would have under typical prudent management. In property tax appraisal, you want to find the value a property would have under typical prudent management and current economic conditions. These requirements force you to develop an OAR using mortgage and equity cap rates that reflect market conditions. These requirements force you to develop an OAR using mortgage and equity cap rates that reflect market conditions on the date of your appraisal. As a result, finding the appropriate mortgage cap rate is fairly simple if you know the prevailing loan terms. The interest rate and the length of the repayment period for properties comparable to your subject. The mortgage cap rate is not the same as the interest rate on the loan. Instead, the cap rate equals the mortgage constant used to amortize a loan made at the interest rate. To amortize means to pay off a debt in equal installments. For this reason, you sometimes see mortgage constants labeled amount to amortize or partial payment. To find the mortgage constant, you must first look up the compound interest table in the workbook appendix for the interest rate, making sure that you use a monthly table for monthly compounding or an annual table for annual compounding. The intersection of the table's mortgage constant column with the line equal to the loan term gives you the appropriate cap rate. For example, you want to know the appropriate mortgage cap rate for a 30-year loan at 12% annual interest. In the compound interest table addendum for 12% annual interest, the column labeled mortgage constant, the rightmost column, in the compound interest table addendum for 12% annual interest, the column labeled mortgage constant, the rightmost column, gives you the mortgage constants for a variety of repayment periods. The intersection of that line labeled 30 gives you the mortgage cap rate of 0.124144. Finding the appropriate equity cap rate requires more work. Interviews with buyers, sellers, and lenders may enable you to develop a reliable equity cap rate based on current market expectations, or you can analyze sales. Since lenders normally regard loans on income-producing properties as more risky than loans and residences, borrowers sometimes have to obtain more than one mortgage to finance their purchases. You may see second or sometimes even third mortgages on income-producing properties. If the loan terms reflect prudent or typical practice, you should simply weigh each mortgage accordingly. For example, first mortgages on commercial properties normally make up 60% of the total property value. The interest rate is typically 11.5% annual compounding and the term is 20 years. Second mortgages normally make up 30% of property value. Interest rate is 13%, annual compounding for a 20-year term. Equity investors normally require a 15% rate. The appropriate compound interest tables provide mortgage cap rates of 0.129705 for the first mortgage and 0.142354 for the second. A set of interest tables appears in the workbook appendix. The equity cap rate of 15% is given. Band of investment indicates an OAR of 13.55%. First mortgage, 0.60 times 0.129705 equals 0.077823. Second mortgage, 0.30 times 0.142354 equals 0.042706. Equity, 0.10 times 0.15 equals 0.01500. Overall percentage is 1. You've got the whole, and add all of your OAR percentages to get a total OAR of 0.135529 or 13.55%. The lender who makes a first mortgage, senior mortgage, normally loans an amount of money representing a greater share of the total property value than the lender making the second or junior mortgage. The lender making the first mortgage has the right to foreclose the property. The second mortgage lender does not. Since the second mortgage requires more risk, the interest rate on the second mortgage is normally higher. Property owners, purchasers, normally expect a higher return on equity than either mortgage lender requires. This assumption may not hold true in times of sharp economic decline. As a result, the highest cap rate ordinarily applies to owner's equity, the second highest to the second mortgage, and the lowest to the first mortgage. You may also see appraisers develop an OAR using the nominal interest rate instead of the mortgage constant. In the preceding example, this technique produces an OAR of 12.3% instead of 13.55%. First mortgage, 0.60 times 0.115 equals 0.069. Second mortgage, 0.30 times 0.130 equals 0.039. Equity, 0.10 times 0.15 equals 0.015. Overall property is 1. Over the OAR is 0.123 or 12.3%.
Well, that's real interesting.
What's that?
I did not remember at all that you can use a nominal interest rate instead of the mortgage constant in that second column of numbers. The mortgage constants come from a table that they did not. It's in the back of the book.
Yeah. So, but then where is your nominal interest rate coming from?
It's given usually.
Oh, it sure is up at the top. I see it.
Yeah, but that's usually comes from a source of data of some sort for
Gotcha.
those.
Technically, this produces an incorrect.
No.
Technically, this procedure is incorrect since it ignores the impact of debt amortization on the component rates and thus lowers the OAR. In practice, appraisers should reflect the prevailing practice in their market. If buyers and sellers in the marketplace are developing cap rates using the nominal interest rate instead of the mortgage constant, then appraisers should follow that practice. Band of investment method using mortgage and equity components is a highly useful technique for developing OARs, particularly when you have limited sales information. Appraisers should have little trouble getting information about the ratio of loans to property value, the loan ratio, or about prevailing interest rates. Equity cap rates may present more problems since you would normally verify them using sales information. Even if you cannot get sales, you should be able to interview property owners in your market to get some indication of their expectations. Outline Appendix A covers a related technique for developing an OAR, the debt coverage ratio method. This method provides a useful way to check rates derived from band of investment and enables you to develop a cap rate when sales information is severely limited. This technique is not covered in detail or tested in this course. It is covered in advanced income courses and not required for the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation Registered Professional Appraiser Level 4 exam. Students are referred to this method should they need in practice to check rates derived from other techniques. This looks like a quiz coming up. Is that correct? Or am I just...
No, this is this is just text. I think it doesn't look like a quiz.
Oh, okay.
It's
I don't
not
know.
asking you anything.
Okay. The first example, maybe,
Of what?
of whatever this is.
Band of investment technique.
Okay. Well, that's what I was going to say.
Okay.
So, band of investment technique, land and building components, what you need to know. Ownership breakdown between land and buildings, land cap rate, building cap rate. Number 1, multiply the land percentage times the land cap rate. Number 2, multiply the building percentage times the building cap rate. For example, percentage land equals 40%, percentage building equals 60%, land rate equals 12%, building rate equals 17%. Land, 0.40 times 0.12 equals 0.0480. Building, 0.60 times 0.17 equals 0.1020. Added together is 15% for property OAR.
You really don't need to. That's the rate for the whole property as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It is important to know that you've got the whole property because you could goof, and I could see where they would try and trick you.
Dang Skippy.
So that's the only reason why I read that you've got the whole property accounted for.
That's fine.
That's the mathematician in me. Okay, so return and recapture component, what you need to know.
Another band of investment technique. All these are band of investment techniques.
Okay. What you need to know. Percentage that wasting assets make up of total property value, return rate, recapture rate. Number 1, multiply the percentage of value in wasting assets times the recapture rate to get the weighted recapture rate. Number 2, add weighted recapture to the return rate to get the OAR. Example. Percentage wasting assets equals 60%. Discount rate equals 12%. Recapture rate equals 5%. So your discount that don't make no sense. Your discount is 1% times 0.12.
In this chart, they put the discount is where the land would go.
Okay.
In the above method. You're putting 1 because the land is one whole property. It's one piece.
And it's discounted 12%.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
The recapture is where the building would go.
Okay.
And it says up here, percentage of wasting assets. That's an improvement. It's wasting. It's depreciating.
Okay.
Building. 60%. So 16% times the recapture rate equals 5. Recapture rate equals 5%. So the 60% times the 5% equals 3%. But what you got to know is recapture rate is always associated with an improvement, never the land.
Well, we just got through saying
Different method. But go ahead.
do you need to go sit on the potty?
No, I don't.
Because you just went in your pants or what? Oh.
My fingers.
It looks like you've got you've got 160% though.
Yeah, but not in this method. That's not what you do.
Okay.
In the above method, yes, you're going to
Well, everything else has been that way. I just want to point out.
Not for this return and recapture component method.
Okay. Anyways, your OAR is 15%. Okay.
This is a good discussion.
I guess.
It's helping me.
Okay, mortgage and equity components, what you need to know. Ownership breakdown between mortgage and equity. Mortgage cap rate, equity cap rate. Number 1, multiply the mortgage percentage times the mortgage cap rate. Number 2, multiply the equity percentage times the equity cap rate. So the loan ratio equals 80%, equity equals 20%, mortgage cap rate equals 0.1525, equity cap rate equals 0.14. So mortgage is 80% times 0.1525 equals 0.1220. Equity is 0.20 times 0.14 equals 0.0280, giving you property OAR of 15%.
Now that second column of numbers, well, they're going to give you, they're going to give you the mortgage percentage and the equity percentage, but that second column numbers is going to come off of a table.
Okay, this looks like a quiz, maybe.
Let's see. Yeah, so you can skip it.
Skip it.
Skip to page 52.
I get to go to page 52? Wow.
52. Okay.
Oh, did you not ever stop it?
No.
Oh, I thought you did. I apologize.
No.
Sorry for the dead space.
No, that discussion was good to have, even on here.
Okay. K. Understand the IRV capitalization formula, the relationship of income, rate, and value, PAV, page 342 to 343. Number 1. There are 3 primary components involved in the capitalization process. A. Calculating NOI. B. Selecting OAR. C. Calculating the value of the property. 2. The basic formula. The value of the property equals NOI divided by OAR. Example, $9,600 in income divided by 0.12 rate equals $80,000 value. Number 3. Each of the 3 variations of the IRV formula is basic to the proper understanding of the income approach. The formulas demonstrate that the property income, the cap rate, and the property value are all related. If the cap rate increases, the value of the property decreases. And if the income of the property increases, the value of the property increases. The fundamental formula for the direct capitalization states that income equals the cap rate times property value. Abbreviated, this gives you IRV, income equals tax rate, equals...
Tax rate.
IRV equals income... No, abbreviated, this gives you IRV, which is income equals rate times value. You may see the IRV in the form of a boxed triangle. If you know any 2 parts of this formula, you can calculate the third. Covering up the unknown part of the IRV boxed triangle tells you how to find it. If the property income is unknown, then multiply the rate times the property value. If the value is unknown, then divide the income by the rate. If the rate is unknown, divide the income by the value.
Okay.
Examples. Income equals rate times value. The next example, rate equals income divided by value. The next example, value equals income divided by rate. Another example. For example,
that's what I was... That's okay.
Using the following market information derived from a comparable sale, the appraiser can estimate NOI. The comparable property has an OAR of 12% and a sale price of $600,000. Income equals rate times value. Income is equal to 0.12 times 600,000. Income is equal to 72,000. You are appraising an office building that produces $450,000 per year in NOI. A comparable office building recently sold for $3,400,000. It produces $375,000 in yearly NOI. To find the OAR for the building that sold, divide the income by property value sale price. Rate equals income divided by value. Rate is equal to $375,000 divided by $3,400,000. Rate is equal to 0.11029 or 11% rounded. You used market information to develop an OAR. Assuming that the sold property is a good comparable, you can divide NOI from your subject by this cap rate to estimate the subject's value. Value equals income divided by rate. Value is equal to 450,000 divided by 0.11. Value is equal to $4,090,909. When the cap rate, income estimates, and expense estimates are reliable, direct capitalization provides a reliable estimate of market value. L. Selection of rates. Direct capitalization, PAV, pages 345 through 360. The three components of cap rate. A, the discount rate component. B, recapture rate component. And C, effective tax rate component. Note: please review the example on PAV, page 355 through 357, that demonstrate the validity of using the effective tax rate. Number 2, acceptable techniques for developing the OAR. PAV, pages 347 through 353. A, market comparison technique derived from comparable sales. Application of the IRV formula, PAV, page 347. Example: property A sold for $833,333 and has an NOI of $100,000. R equals I over V. R equals 100,000 divided by $833,333. R equals 0.12 or 12% OAR. Example A, sold for $500,000. The NOI after taxes and discount is $10,000. B, band of investment method using mortgage and equity technique, PAV, page 348. Investment, first mortgage, it has 0.75%. The rate is 0.117460 to give an OAR on the first mortgage of 0.0881. The second mortgage has a percent of 0.10 and a rate of 0.146824, giving a contribution to OAR of 0.0147. The equity has a 0.15%. It has a rate of 0.15. Contribution to OAR is 0.0225, giving a total OAR of 0.1253 or 12.53%.
I like the way they put contribution to OAR because that's what you're doing.
That makes sense.
In all three of those examples, that's what you're doing. And you're going to add up all the contributions to the OAR.
Oh.
I should have just said that from the beginning.
Net income ratio technique, PAV, pages 349. Example: property A sold for $250,000 and has an EGI of $50,000. The net income ratio is 60%, which is 100% minus 40% operating expense ratio. So your R sub 0 equals NIR, which is your net income ratio, divided by your GIM, which is your gross income multiplier. Your GIM is equal to sale price divided by EGI. So your GIM is equal to $250,000 divided by 50,000 equals 5.0. So the R sub 0 is 0.60 divided by the 5, which is equal to 0.12 or 12% overall rate. Do you understand that one?
Yeah. Yeah, this thing is following along pretty much what the text is going to say.
Okay.
All those acronyms.
Okay.
Yeah.
So D, debt coverage ratio technique, PAV, pages 350. Number 1, overall capitalization rate, OAR, is equal to R sub 0. Number 2, debt coverage ratio is equal to DCR. 3, annual mortgage constant is equal to R sub M. Number 4, loan to value ratio is equal to M. So the formula here is R sub 0 equals DCR times RM times M. Let me try and read it with words.
Oh.
It's overall capitalization rate, your OAR, is equal to debt coverage ratio times annual mortgage constant times loan to value ratio.
Here's a chart of
Here's what this doesn't help with for me.
Okay.
With it being right here, I can just look. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go.
It is alphabetical.
Well, I'm still going to have to look.
Okay.
So
that messes you up.
It does.
Okay.
Just because I'm just yeah.
Okay.
So I appreciate this, but it ain't helping me none. So, for example, property A, the NOI is $600,000 and the annual debt service is $471,500. The loan to value ratio is 75% based on an annual mortgage requirement of 12.25%. So your overall capitalization rate is equal to debt coverage ratio times annual mortgage constant times loan to value ratio. Your DCR is equal to 600,000 divided by 471,500 equals 1.2725. And then your OAR is equal to 1.2725 times 0.1225 times 0.75, meaning giving you your overall capitalization rate is equal to 0.1169 or 11.69% OAR.
Now, this will be helpful. This will be helpful. Is if you read those, like the R of 0, if you say R of 0 or overall cap rate and DCR and RM and stuff, you say them both together. In this case, saying them both together is going to help out a lot.
Okay, I will certainly do my best.
Yeah, I know it's kind of hard, but it's okay.
Okay, so E, yield change technique, PAV, page 352. And then F, band of investment method, using land and building components, PAV, page 353. Example, the land cap rate is 10%, the improvement cap rate is 12.5%, the land represents 20% of value, and the improvements represent 80% of value. So land is 0.20%, the cap rate is 0.10, equals a contribution to OAR of 0.0200. Your improvement percent is 0.80, cap rate is 0.125, equals to contribution to OAR 0.1000. So your total contribution to OAR is 0.12 or 12%. So recapture of capital invested, number 3, recapture of capital invested in improvements, PAV, page 354. Discount equals is the return on the investment. Recapture is the return of the investment. Aha, here's the difference. Your discount is the return on the investment. The recapture is the return of the investment.
Discount is return on the investment.
Mhm.
Recapture is return of the investment. Maybe when you sell it,
Perhaps.
then you get a portion of it back
Yeah. But as you're using it,
on top of.
That's-
as you're using it,
yeah.
what?
Well, that's your discount.
Okay.
That's the discount of the return on the investment.
I guess.
So, number 1, economic life technique, PAV, page 354. 100% recapture divided by remaining economic life. Example, property A has a remaining economic life of 20 years. So, 1, because it's 100% recapture, divided by 20 is equal to 0.05 or 5% per year recapture rate. Number 2, market comparison technique, PAV, page 355. Example, sale price $1,200,000, subtracting land value $400,000 equals the improvement value of $800,000. Recapture income is equal to $16,000, which R is equal to I divided by V, which is equal to the 16,000 divided by the 800,000 equals the 0.02 or the 2% per year recapture.
Then we're probably going to have to calculate the recapture rate using this economic life technique. I better learn that.
That was the market comparison technique.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it sure was.
So your market comparison technique, you're going to have to figure your recapture rate.
Yeah. Sure enough. Okay. All right.
End of section. Ding! You may turn your pages now.